Hello, and this is Burke Lyle here. Welcome to Atlanta and Around the Majors baseball. So in this video, I want to talk about the WBC. So we'll do WBC Pool A. So it's Taiwan, Netherlands, Cuba, Italy, and Panama. So we'll go through a look at the rosters of each team. And right now, off the bat, I'd say Pool A, the teams that I would expect to get out. Probably the Netherlands, they're always sneaky good. They always have a few major leaguers on their roster every time. Cuba, they have a lot of talented players. This year, I think only two major leaguers. I think it's Luis Robert and Yohan Moncada. I mean, again, they could have more, but they have fewer. Italy, I guess, has a fair amount of Italian-American players. I think Anthony Rizzo was there one time. Panama, their most successful players were Mariano Rivera and Rod Caruso. They've had two Hall of Fame caliber players, kind of a sneaky dark horse. And then Taiwan, they tend to have a few major leaguers here and there every now and then. So again, yes, high-powered baseball countries. Netherlands, technically Curacao. Cuba, definitely really good baseball country. I don't think they win it. I think like teams like the U.S., Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico has been to the last two finals and lost to the Dominican Republic and the U.S. They're probably those dark horses. So I'll just kind of look through the rosters of each team. So it's February 14th, and the Super Bowl ended 2 days ago. It's time for spring training. I'm also excited that the college season is starting this week as well. I'm very excited for college baseball to start back as well. So that will take us from now until pretty close to July 1st with college baseball. And then just the major leagues. Pretty much spring training starting this week. Games will take place next week, and then the regular season starts about 6 weeks from now, a little more, 44 days away until the regular season starts. And then World Series takes you right around to November 1st. So you pretty much have baseball pretty much for parts of February, regular season into March, plus college ball. April, you have college ball and the MLB. May, college and the MLB. June, you have the college baseball postseason in the MLB. And then July, August, September, October is the playoff. And then many years, give or take a couple days in November of baseball. So really, you get baseball for part of the 10 months of the year. So January and I guess December. So let's go through the rankings right now. So I just want to go through each team's roster, examine them. So Taiwan, a lot of their players, if you look through, this is Baseball America is where I'm getting to the 30-man roster. They'll be playing on their home field. Su Win Lin, I'm kind of familiar with him. So there's a couple major league players on the roster, but most of them play in the Chinese Professional Baseball League, which is the Taiwan league. I think there's another Chinese league, I believe, that is officially China, but again, Taiwan, a lot of these guys on those teams. You have Kiwi Tang, played Major League Baseball, Giants in the minor league system, to the Chinese Professional Baseball League, Uni President, 7-Eleven Lions, the Ratican Monkeys, the Wu Chain Dragons, the CTB Brothers. So most players in that league, most of the pitchers, all the catchers are in that league as well. Then you have Sung Che-Ching, Major League Baseball Pirates organization. You have a player from the Australian League, Su Win Lin. That name sounds familiar. One player from the Nippon League, the Satamba Cebu Lions, that is Ning Toon Woo. So those are those guys there. And then mostly the Chinese Professional League. Another player who could be in the Nippon Ham Fighters, Pu Jang Wang, Nippon Professional League, kind of their minor league system. So a lot of these players, Chinese Professional League, the Taiwanese League, which is up, I think Manny Ramirez was in there a few years ago. I mean, I'd like to visit Taiwan. So again, high quality baseball. So that's their roster. The Netherlands, keep in mind the Netherlands roster, Alexander Bogaerts, Anderson Simmons, Tito Groys, Jonathan Scope. Those are usually the players that are in that league that usually play for that team. They're from Curacao. Bogarts is from Aruba. So that's who they have. So pitchers mostly free agents. There's also the Dutch League as well. You have a prospect, Toronto minor leagues. This is Georgini Casimiro, Toronto Blue Jays minor league system. You've got Jaden Istitza, the Phillies minor league system, Reds minor league. So a fair amount of minor league pitchers. Jair Jurgens, you know what? He pitched for the Braves about a decade ago. Had a pretty good major league career. I'd say his peak was probably from 2009, 2008, 2009 to 2011. Had a nice career up until his mid-20s, but like many pitchers, kind of fell off after that. Never really the same. So a fair amount of minor leaguers. You have the Kelly brothers, Antoine Kelly, Kevin Kelly, Chiron Martis. You know, I remember him with the Nationals early in his career. Pitched with them, maybe 2009. Was fairly young when he was in the major leagues, in early 20s, and never really had a very long major league career, but is playing in Amsterdam, the Dutch major league. So there's the Dutch major league, I guess. You have you have a guy in the Mexican league. So just different guys, a lot of minor leaguers, independent. Derek West in the Astros organization. The catcher, Chadwick Trump, Atlanta Braves. Some major league experience. I think that name sounds pretty familiar. Xander Bogaerts on the Padres. D. Gregorius. You have Drickson Profar, who's playing on this team, is still... He should be signed soon. I'm surprised it's taken this long. Still a free agent. Jonathan Scope on the Tigers. Andrelton Simmons. You know, I don't know if he'll play again. I really don't know if he's going to come back and play again. I mean, just had a 10-year big league career. Played with the Braves, and then Mexican League, Vladimir Valentin had a fairly short major league career. I think had quite a bit of success in Japan. I think has a Japanese single season record there. And then you have Roger Bernardina, played with the Washington Nationals for a period of time. Before then, a couple other major league teams, had a long career in the minors. Recently, in fact, I saw him playing with Curacao in the Caribbean Series just within the last week. And you have the Palacios brothers, I guess Josh on the Pirates minors, Richie at the Guardians. So the Netherlands, they have some major league players, also some minor league players as well. Let's go to Cuba now. Cuba, many years they really have not had major leaguers. They're allowed to play this year, just two. Luis Robert, Yohan Moncada, one player that's on this team, and there's a couple. Yoenis Cespedes, Cespedes in his prime, really had quite a career. He showed off the power, the arm, the speed. I think he had all five tools. Definitely flashed a lot of tools when he played. Had less than a 10-year career, but he was a really good player when he was there. You have Ronis Elias. I remember him with the Nationals. So some players as well. So Cuba, a fair amount of players in the Mexican League. Kansas City Royals. So you have some. Luis M. Romero, another Nippon League. So a fair amount of Cubans in the Nippon League, actually. A couple Mexican, like the Shunichi Dragons in the Nippon League, SoftBank Hawks, the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks, and that's it there. I guess a couple players are just playing Cuba. Infielders, more Nippon League, Mexican League, Yohan Moncada, Andy Ibanez of the Tigers. You have Yoenis Cespedes, who didn't play any baseball last year. More Nippon League players, and then you have Luis Robert, obviously. So some players just play just in Cuba, it seems like. A fair amount of Mexican, fair amount of Nippon. So a lot of talented players that Cuba has. I think they get through in that bracket. You have Italy, which more Italian Americans. I guess major leaguers who have Italian descent who probably aren't good enough to play on the U.S. team, like David Fletcher, Nicky Lopez, Dominic Fletcher is a prospect. Sal Fridlick's a prospect as well. So again, guys who maybe would play in the WBC and future leagues. You have some independent league guys One player's on this team that's interesting is Matt Harvey. That's a surprise again. Matt Harvey, we know his story. 10 years ago, peaked with the Mets. Never really the same, probably post-2015. So you have a fair amount of major leaguers on Italy's roster. Panizzi on the Reds. Claudio Scotti on the Mets. Again, a lot of names of the Italians ending in I's and O's. And it doesn't say minors, so maybe they're major league players. So maybe, David Fletcher, Dominic Fletcher, so the Fletcher brothers, I guess they're Italian in a sense. So I guess you could say that the Italy has a fair amount of some major league talent. Maybe they break through, I don't know. And then you have Panama, more minors, Jaime Baera, Christian Betancourt, Ruben Tejada. He hasn't played in the big leagues in a while, came up very young. Paulo Espino, kind of soft tossing starter. Ivan Herrera, was going to be the Cubs or Cardinals catcher of the future before Wilson Contreras signed. So that's kind of Panama. Yeah, they have a few major league talent. Some, you look down the list, but never really at the level as, say, they're not like the Dominican Republic. So they have some talent. No really famous major league players. So that's kind of Pool A. So who I would say gets out of Pool A, I would say most likely would be, I'm going to go with Cuba and the Netherlands. Those are my picks to get out of Pool A. Next, we'll go through Pool B.